Okay, digital imaging. Today we're going to be making these avatars here. So you should have your layers open and you should have the student layer unlocked here and then this locked layer here. And we're going to be making avatars and we're going to be making some different types of avatars. These avatars here are going to be more simple avatars using simple shapes here on our shapes tool. And then this other one, we're going to be using our Bezier tool and then a few other tools that we've used, but kind of combining them all together here. Okay. First things first is we're going to start off with this one here. I'm not going to complete all of these here. You guys can make those, but I will give you kind of all the tools and techniques so that you can make them and then do this other one here. I'll show you how. Okay, so this first one, we're going to be using our rounded rectangle tool. So we're going to grab our rectangle tool here. So you can do this a couple different ways. If you want, you can use these little templates that I've put here. I've got my snapping on, and then I'm going to click and drag and select this. And this has, remember my settings, so I'm just going to put my settings back to how they normally are here. So I'm going to start over again. So I'm going to click and drag here, and I'm just going to drag over that rectangle, and you'll see that it'll snap there. Now remember with the rounded rectangle, what you can do is you can grab your handles here, and you can put those there in the corner, and then pull that down to make your shape here. Okay. Now I'm just going to bring this over here and I'm going to keep some of this so that it stays this black here and kind of see how I start to make my pieces. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be making this circle for my ear. So I'm going to hold my shift and my option key down. Whoops, and this also remember my settings here. So press delete. Okay, I'm going to hold my control and shift. And remember with control and shift, that'll make your circle go from the middle out. So I tried to get that kind of as close as I could here, which actually turned out okay. I'm just going to kind of move this here. And then I'm going to grab my circle tool again. I'm going to make another circle. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more here. And so here's my center. I'm going to hold control and shift again. And whoops, that didn't work. I think I'll just have to eyeball here. So I'll just hold control and shift again and have my circle go from the middle out. Something like that. I can grab this, select these both here. I can go to my arrange tool and I have this on last selected, so I can arrange that like that and then arrange that like that. Okay. And then I'm going to grab these. These are going to be both my ears here. And I'm actually going to just go ahead and color these here. So I'm going to grab my eyedropper. You can color these a couple different ways. I've got some different swatches over here that you can use a few different skin tones here, and then you can also just use some of these here. So that's actually what I'm going to do. I'm going to deselect this. I'm going to grab my select that one. I'm going to fill this. I'm going to hold shift and get rid of my stroke, and then I'm going to select this other circle, press the D key, and then fill that like that. Hold shift and get rid of my stroke there like that. Okay. Right now, this is in front of my face here, so I'm just going to move this to the bottom of the stack here. So I'm just going to push that down like that, and then I will actually press Control D and make a copy, and then I'm just going to bring this. Whoops. And then I'm just going to bring this other shape over here. I'm going to hold my Control key. And then same thing, I'm going to put this to the bottom of the stack here. Okay, so now I've got my ears and my face here. And now I can start to make my nose. So I'm going to grab my rounded rectangle tool again. And then I'm going to click and drag. And I'm just going to kind of hold that over there. And that actually looks surprisingly good here. So I can do that. I'm going to press the D key, select that color. And then same thing, I'll use my circle for my eyes here. I'm going to hold control and shift. Pull that out like that. Okay, and then I'm just going to go to black fill like that. I'm actually going to change the color here just so I can see it. And then control D, whoops. Control D, I pressed Control X by accident. I'm going to hold Control so that this stays aligned to that other one here. Now I can do the same thing. I can make these eyebrows a couple different ways, but I'm actually just going to use my rounded rectangle tool. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to just grab that circle and kind of bring that out a little bit like that. Okay. I'm going to press D, grab my brown, press Control D and make a copy. I'm holding Control, and then I'm just going to move that over there like that. Okay. Now for this part here, I can do this a couple different ways. One way is I can use my Bezier tool. Another way is I can use some of my union and combine tools. So I think I'm actually going to use a combination of both of those here. So I will click on this, and then I'm going to hold Control, and I'm just going to make a straight line here, and I'm going to go out to the edge. And then I'm going to make another straight line and press Control. And then I'm going to go down here to this point where the bottom of that is, and then click and drag. And I'm going to hold my Control key again, like that. Okay. Now I need to make a straight line here, so I can't make quite a straight line. So I'm going to press Shift and L. L is in Lucy. And then I can make my straight line here. Okay. I'll go up like that, and then I'll hold my Control key and connect those like that. Okay. Now I'm going to grab my rounded rectangle tool, and then I'm going to click and drag. I want to kind of look where this edge kind of comes across here like that. So I'm going to go like right here, and then click and drag and pull that down. I'm going to go across my other piece here like that. Okay. And then I want to round this. So I'm going to grab these and then grab these like that to make my rounded piece here, and then just kind of pull that up like that. Okay. I'm going to change this color here so that I can see what's going on. Whoops, I changed the stroke. I need to change this. And then I just want to kind of zoom in real close, and I was a little bit off, so I'm just going to kind of squish this up like that, and then pull this up here like that. And it's actually not snapping quite how I want it, so I'm going to turn snapping off and then bring that like that. Okay, now I need to combine these two pieces here, so I'm going to hold Shift, select this other piece, and then I'm going to go up to Path and then Combine. Okay, and now I've got one solid piece. Okay, this next one here, I could grab my circle tool, and then again, I'm going to make this a part that hides underneath here. So I'm going to click and drag and pull, and I can make a circle. Actually, I don't want to use this shape, do I? Let me see here. No, I don't want to use that. I'm actually going to use my rounded rectangle tool. So click and drag and pull this, and then we're going to go out somewhere kind of like that. Okay. And then what I need to do is I need to just cut this part off. I'm going to switch this to a stroke. So I'm going to hold, get rid of my fill, and then I'm going to hold Shift and give this kind of red outline. I'm just going to kind of line this up like that. And then I need to have this cut off here somewhere around there. So I'm going to grab this, and then I'm going to grab another shape. Or how else could I do that? I could also, I could also just click and drag and pull this like that. That's what I'll do. Okay, and then I'm going to move this to the bottom, behind there like that, and I'm going to press Control D and do that. That looks a little weird because I don't have a face on there. Okay. And I forgot the mouth here, so I'm going to go back and give this a stroke and get rid of my fill here. Now we're going to make our mouth. Okay. I could do this a couple different ways. I think what I will do is I will grab my rounded rectangle tool again, actually, and then just pull this down here like that. And I can click and drag and pull this down here. No, that's not what I want. Okay, so I need to do a fill on this, and I'm going to do a yellow fill here, get rid of my stroke, and I can just kind of like line this up like that. Okay, and then I need to cut this off here. So I'm going to grab my rectangle tool, and I need a different color. I'm going to go here and click this so it's like that. These are going to be my teeth, and I'm going to make sure everything lines up just right here before I go on to this next part. Okay, I'm going to press Control C, and I'm going to make a copy of this mouthpiece, and that'll make sense here in a little bit. I'm going to select both my shapes. I'm going to go to Path and then Difference, and that should cut that out like that. And now I need to ungroup this. I need to maybe go to Path and Break Apart, because I need to, there we go. I need to separate these pieces out. And actually, I'm just going to pull this up a little bit. I actually did this a different way than I thought I was going to, but that's okay. So again, I'm going to put this back here like that. I'm going to zoom in, pull this over here like this, and then pull this down. And I want to make sure that these all line up right and look good here. And I'm going to pull this down like that. This is going to be white, so I'm going to fill this with white. And then this part is going to be, you know, kind of like a red here. Let's do kind of a red like that. Okay. Now I can fill this, so I can press Control D and fill that like that. I'm going to hold Shift, get rid of my stroke. Okay, so now I've got the beginning of my face here. And I want to make my neck. So again, I'm going to grab my rounded rectangle tool. I'm going to click and drag, and I'm going to pull this here. I'm going to change the color so you can kind of see what I'm doing like that. And then I'm going to grab my eyedropper tool. I'm going to fill this. And then I want to go to my fill color. And I want to make this a little bit darker here. Okay, so I've got this selected, and then I can just go here, and I want to make this a little bit darker here. So I'm just going to go and kind of bump this over a little bit, like kind of like that, not too much. We're just going for a little bit darker here, and then I'm going to move this to the bottom of my stack here. It should be underneath my chin. I'm going to bump this down just a little bit. Okay, and then I'm actually going to add a stroke to this. I'm going to do just kind of like a dark green stroke here, and we'll use that for our t-shirt later on here. I'll go to my stroke, and I'm just going to increase this just a little bit. Okay. All right, and then, so we've got our face here, and now we're ready to make our shirt. And then we'll also make our shadow too. So now I'm ready to make my shirt here, and I can use my rounded rectangle tool. We're actually using the rounded rectangle for like most of this, which is kind of cool. So I'm going to go back to my fill. So I'm going to scroll over here, get rid of my fill so that I can see what I'm doing, and then did not mean to do that. I'm going to grab this and can I move this? Not with that. And then I want to, whoops, select this again. Just going to kind of move this down a little bit so that I can see this kind of line up. Kind of bring this over. Like that. Bring this one over here like that. And then grab my rectangle tool and kind of pull this in something there like that. Okay. Now, I also want to bring this down a little bit so that I have those straight sides there. And do a fill, get rid of my stroke here, and then I'm going to grab my rounded rectangle tool. I'm going to bring this across like that. Give these corners here. I'm going to give this a different fill so you can kind of see what's going on. I'm going to select both of these, and then I'm going to go to path and difference. Okay. And then let's go back to my greens, and let's just do a green kind of like that. And then I'm going to put this on the bottom of the stack. And I actually hate that green, so I want something a little bit more blue. Much better. Okay, so that's our face here. So this other one is using a combination of those other tools. Oh, I also need to make my shadow here. So I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to press Control D and make a copy. And I'm just going to kind of bring this over here like that. I'm going to change the color. Let's just do this green here so you can kind of see what's happening. And then I'm just going to bring this down just a little bit like that, just so I have some of this coming across here. And this is going to make our shadow. I'm going to press Control C and make a copy of my shape underneath. I'm going to hold Shift and select both of these, and then I'm going to go to Path and Difference. Okay, that's going to be my shadow. Okay, and then I'm going to press Edit and then Paste in Place, and that's going to paste that right there. Okay, and then I'm going to move this to the bottom of the stack. I need to move that not so many ways to the stack, to the bottom. I'm just going to keep kind of pressing down, 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 like that. Okay, and then I've selected my highlight here, so I'm going to press D to get my eyedropper tool. I'm going to go back to my fill color, and then actually I don't need to do that. I can just select this and do that. Okay. All right. So that's that first one here. This second one, I'm not going to go through and make all these shapes here. You guys can use some of those different tools to make all those shapes. A lot of this is repeating that over and over again, but I will show you how you can make these lips here. The lips, we can use our circle tool. And so I'm going to hold Control and make a perfect circle. So remember, with the circle tool, you can make shapes like this. Up here, you've got these different settings. So if I want to just do like a half shape, I can do that. I can grab this, and I just want to make a semicircle. I'm going to select this shape, and then I'm going to rotate. I'm going to hold my Control key to rotate this. Okay. I'm going to shrink this down a little bit and do something like that. I'm going to press, I need to just shrink this just a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to press Control D and make a copy. I'm holding Control and Shift, and I'm going to move this over there like that. Okay. Now I've got two different shapes here, so I'm going to combine them. So I'm going to go up to Path and then Union. Okay, and now I've got my two shapes there. I was a little bit off. That's okay. I'm going to grab my rectangle, my circle tool again here. I'm going to press Control and make my shape. I'm going to change the color here. Okay, and then I actually want to line this up just right here. So I'm going to select both of these, and then I'm going to go to my Align tool, and then I'm going to align this on the left side here like that. And that's going to bump that over. Okay, and then actually, can I do, no, I can. Okay, and then I'll bring this up here like this. I'm going to hold Shift so it stays in the right spot. And then I'm just going to grab this, kind of move this over like that. Okay, I'm going to go to my reds. And are there some better ones? Yeah, let's grab this one. We're going to do this, and then let's do something like that. Yeah. actually like the reds they had here. So I'm going to grab my eyedropper tool, select that one. And then I'm going to move this over here. And then grab my eyedropper tool and select that one. Okay, I'm going to select this. I'll align this back up with this one here. And then I'm going to hold shift and put this back in the right spot here. Okay. This other one is basically kind of like a repeat of this one here. I'm using some different shapes, this semicircle shape here. What you can do, and actually I forgot a piece here, is I forgot this little highlight here. So I can grab this and I can grab my circle tool. I'm going to get rid of this fill, and then I'm just going to do a stroke here, and then I want to do this so that it's open like that. Okay, and then I'm actually going to make this a different color here, that way you can kind of see it a little bit more. I'm going to rotate this. Oops. I'm going to press Control. Okay, and then that way this is parallel to that, and then I'm just going to shrink this down a little bit. I'm going to hold Control, and let's go somewhere kind of like there. Let me just take a look here. Yeah. Okay. And then I want to grab my Bezier tool, and I'm going to try to get this kind of in the middle here. And then I'm just going to make a straight line, so I'm going to hold Control, and I'm going to come across like that. Okay. Now, for my line fill and stroke here, I'm going to go to Stroke Style. I've got this, and then I want to put this cap here, this rounded cap. And then I'm going to select both of these, and I'm going to put this on pixels. And let's do like 2. Okay. These should be the same size. And then, yeah, I want to align these here, so I'm going to align this to one another like that. Okay. Other thing I can do is now I can select these both, and I can go to Path and Combine, or Path and Union, and combine those like that. Ooh, that's not what I want. There we go, like that. And then I'm just gonna do a kind of like lighter brown. Oh, whoops. Yeah, I just need a stroke like that. Okay. And there's that part here. Okay, this next one, again, some of the same shapes as before. I'm not going to go through and show you guys how to do all that. But I will show you how you can make this pattern shirt. So to make this pattern shirt, we're going to grab our rectangle tool, and I'm just going to make my longest rectangle come across, something like this. I need to have these lines here like that. I don't need to, but for some reason I feel like I should. So I'm going to make my first line here like this, and I'm going to do this black like that, actually a really dark gray, and then I'm going to press Control D, and I'm going to pull this down here like that. I'm going to press Control and just give this kind of like a little bit of space. I'm going to select both of these, press Control D again, and then do Control. Press Control D again, press Control, and then I'm going to press Control D one last time here and move that down like that. Okay, I'm going to select all these, and then I'm going to go here and I'm going to do distribute centers equidistantly vertically like that. Okay, so now I've got this. Now these are all individual lines here, so what I want to do is I want to make them all one single piece here. So I'm going to grab this, and then I'm going to go to Path and Union like that, and then I will grab my rounded rectangle tool, and I'm going to click and drag and do this, round this out a little bit. I'm going to stretch this a little bit like this. Whoops. Okay. just going to give this a stroke here and get rid of my fill so I can kind of see what I've got going on here. I think I might have actually made this doing a different thing, but we'll just keep it like this here and just continue to go on here. Okay, so I'm going to grab this. I'm going to go back to my fill here, and I need to cut this bottom part out. So again, I'm going to select this shape, and I'm just going to go somewhere around here like that. Have my corners here. I'm going to give this a different fill so you can see what's going on. Get rid of my stroke. I'm going to select this, and then I'm going to go to path and difference. Okay, that's my cat in the background, by the way. And I'm going to grab this piece here and put that there. I want to try to make sure that this lines up. I'm going to just kind of stretch this up here, something like that. I want to make sure that these lines touch the top and the bottom here. Otherwise, it looks a little bit weird here. And then I'm going to go click here and then do path and intersection, like that. And actually, I need to step backwards. I forgot a step. I need to make a copy of this. So I'm going to press Control C. And then I'm going to go here, do path, intersection. And then I've got this, but now I need to have a background color today. So I'm going to go up to Edit and Paste in Place. I'm going to paste that piece here. And then I'm just going to give this kind of like a light gray. Get rid of my stroke. Let's do a little bit lighter here like that. And then I'm going to put this at the bottom of the stack. And I'm going to go a little bit lighter on that. I just want to make it so it separates out from the white background here, like that. Okay. You also don't have to do all the same colors that I did. You can make this like a different type of striped shirt. And then this will go behind that piece there like that. If you want to group these, you can go up to Object and Group. And then that way these are two pieces grouped together here like that. Okay. Okay, and then this one here, let me show you how you can make these pieces here. For this one, we're just going to use the Bezier tool, and I'm going to grab my Bezier tool, and I'm just going to go up here, and I need to go all the way up here like this to make my shape, and then we're going to make some of these other pieces later on here. I'm going to hold Control, and I'm going to select this and make my straight line here. Now I need to start to make my jaw, so I'm going to go somewhere kind of like that. I'm going to come down where it starts to go straight, or where it stops going straight. That's where I'm going to stop, and then I'm going to go here, and I want to try to get this kind of in close to the middle as I can here. Okay, I'm going to give this a fill. Just going to give this something like that. And now what I need to do is I need to kind of do a better job of smoothing these out here. So I'm going to grab my nodes tool. Just want to smooth this out just a little bit like that. And then smooth out like that. Okay. Now I'm going to make a copy of this. Press Control D. It's going to make a copy right on top. I'm going to press Control and Shift, and now I'm going to flip this here. So I'm going to flip this over like that. Okay, and then I want to press Control, bring this like right along the edge here. Okay, I'm going to select both these pieces, and I need to make sure that these are right along the edge here. I was thinking maybe I could use my Align tools, but I don't think so. Okay, now I've got these both selected. And I'm going to grab my nodes tool, and you should be able to see both your nodes here like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to join these nodes. So I'm going to click and drag with my nodes tool and select both those nodes. And then I'm going to go up here and I'm going to join these two nodes together here. Okay, and that should combine that together like that. Okay, this shape is open here, so if we wanted to make this all one single piece, I could select these two nodes and again do the same thing like that. Whoop, that's not what I wanted. Never mind, don't do that. So what that did was I combined those two nodes, and now instead of having those two separate pieces, now this is all one piece here. Okay, so what that looks like is something like this, like that. Okay. This other part you can use, you can do that. These two pieces here are separate pieces. We're going to make those here. Let's actually try. We'll make this using our semicircle tool. I'm going to hold Control, make a semicircle. I'm going to give this just kind of like different color here, and I'm going to rotate this. I'm going to press Control and rotate this out here like that. Put this like right along the edge here. Okay. And then I press Control and do something like this. Press Control D, move that over. I'm holding Control. I'm going to rotate this like that. Okay. This part, I'm going to make a circle here. So I'm going to hold, I'm going to make a perfect circle. I'm going to go back here. Whoops. Go back here like that. I'm going to hold Control and Shift and move this. Actually, I don't want to do that. Actually, I'm going to press that backwards. I'm going to grab this, and I am going to do a semicircle. Like that. Rotate. Okay. Just kind of looking how I can combine those pieces together here, and then we'll do like path and union. Okay, something like that. Whoops. Control D. I'm holding Control and Shift. I'm going to rotate this, move that over like that. Okay. And then I'm actually do Control D, and then I'm just going to move this over here like that. And that's not going to quite work. Will it work? Can I use this? Yeah, I could do that. Okay. This other part, I'm going to grab my rectangle tool, and I'm going to click and drag and make my rectangle. And actually, I'm not for sure. Oh, I do want to do it like that. Okay, I'm going to do a different color here so you can kind of see what's happening. I'm going to select both of these here, and then I'm going to align this one to the top. And I need to bring this over just a little bit like that. Okay. And then I need to align this one down here to the bottom of this piece here. Okay. I'm going to hold Shift and then just bring these both down here like that. Okay. And then this last part, I think what I'll do is I'm just going to grab my Bezier tool, and I'm going to start like right here. I'm going to zoom out, and then I'm just going to click and drag and pull this over here like that. I'm going to hold Shift and L, pull this over here like that. I'm going to do a different color so you can see everything that's happening. Press Control D, move this over. I'm going to hold Control to move this over like that. Rotate this like that. And then go somewhere like this. And then I actually did not do this quite right. Can I bring this up here like that? I can. Okay. All right, now it doesn't look like much, but now we're just going to do path and combine, and we're just going to combine all these pieces. Okay. Or sorry, path and union. And then now we've got one single piece for his hair. Okay. Oops, a couple pieces that I kind of messed up here. Let me see if I can kind of fix this. Just going to click and drag and kind of bring that over here like that. That's okay. Let's grab my nodes tool and kind of fix that. Okay. Everything else is pretty easy. Yeah, you guys can do that one here. Okay, and now we're going to start making this this last one here. So let me zoom out here. So this one we're going to be using mostly the Bezier tool here. So I'm going to grab the Bezier tool. And you can kind of start wherever you'd like. I'm going to start with his head, and then I'll start making glasses and hair and stuff like that here. So I'm just going to grab this top part we don't really need to worry too much about. So I'm just going to come around here like this. The ear is going to be a separate section. And so then I'm just going to start to draw. Let me step backwards. I don't like that line here. I'm going to draw this neck. Come here like that. Now remember, with the Bezier tool, if I want to make a sharp right turn, I can press Shift and L. Shift and Lucy here to get that, and I'm going to come around here like that. Okay, I'm going to press Shift and L again. This beard is going to go over this top part, so I just need to worry about this little part of my neck, here. I'm going to come up, and the side of the face is going to be here like this. And then actually the top part of his head too, I don't really need to worry about. Okay, I'm going to leave that. I'm going to leave that like that, and then we'll come back and work on that other part. I'm going to start to make my beard and my hair here. So for the beard, I'm going to just change the color of this. And then I'm going to start to make the beard here. So this is going to be, the beard and the hair are going to be two pieces. So I'm going to make this section here like this. And then I'll come around here like that. Draw this curve here like this. Come up like that. Come around to this corner. This is going to be a right angle here. You don't have to get this exactly right, so if I want to come out for this part, I can do that. But you do want to try to get it as close as you can. And I'm actually step backwards. I'm going to press Control Z, and I'm going to do a little section like this. And then I can complete this path here, so I'm going to complete that path. Click on my anchor point, and then click and drag, and pull up like that. Okay. Now I'm ready to make my hair here, so I can start wherever I'd like here. I'm going to just start right at this corner. And I'm going to go down. And I'm going to go to like right around here. Okay, I'm going to press Shift and L. And then these two pieces will connect. And so then I just need to come around here like that. And then I'm making these curves here. I'm going to step backwards, and then I'm going to go like right here. I'm going to step backwards again. Okay, this little wisp here, this wisp of hair is a little bit, it's a separate piece. So I'm going to come around. Step backwards here, make that curve. This part of the hair will be hidden behind my glasses, but I'll just go around somewhere like right there, and then make this curve, make this curve, and then I need to connect this. I'm going to press Shift and L, and then make this next curve like that. I'm going to go back to where I started and then make that curve like that. Okay, remember you can always adjust stuff, so if I want to like click on this, I can kind of adjust this, sort of smooth that out. This other part I can click and drag and kind of smooth out here with my nodes tool. You can click and kind of pull pieces to kind of make them look where you like how you want them. And then this little wisp here, I'm going to come up like that. And then this comes over here like that, and then comes over like that. And then this one is just going to be a line here. I'm going to grab my eyedropper tool, so I'm going to press D. And I actually need to, I'm going to press Shift and D, and that'll change the stroke here. On my stroke, I can go to my stroke style, and then I want to have a rounded cap on this. I could change the thickness of my line if I'd like. Okay. So since I've got this purple line here, I'm going to use that to make some of these other pieces. I'm going to make this nose like that. Okay. And then I can grab my eyedropper tool, and then I'll press Shift and D and change the stroke of that like that. Again, I've got this rounded cap on there like that. Okay, I'm going to grab my Bezier tool again. I'm going to make these other parts here. So this is going to be the line for my glasses. I don't know why that keeps switching. Usually it stays, but that's okay. I'm going to do this middle part like that. Okay, grab my eyedropper tool, Shift and D. Okay. And then I'm going to make my glasses here. So I could start wherever I'd like. I'm going to just start on this flat part and just come across. And I'll make this first curve. So I'm going to go to where the curve kind of stops curving. And then I'll go around like this. Come around like that. And actually I'm going to step backwards here. And then I'll complete that path like that. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start on the flat part here. Come across. Like this. Come up like that. And then kind of do that. Okay. Again, you can grab your nodes tool. I think all these look pretty good, but if I wanted to kind of adjust some stuff, you know, you can grab your nodes tool and kind of adjust things if things didn't quite turn out how you'd like. And I'm actually just going to select both of these and just change my colors here to this blue, like that. And then hold Shift and get rid of my stroke, like that. Okay. Next thing I need to do is I need to make this mouth. So I'm going to make this line here. And so this is going to be two pieces. So I'm going to make this curve part. I'm going to hold Shift and L to make this corner. And then I'm going to come around like that. Come over here like this. And then I'll press Shift and L and then complete this last line here like that. This angle here I need to just kind of change. So I'm just going to grab my handles here and kind of adjust that. Okay. I'm going to grab my eyedropper tool and just fill this with this pink and then get rid of my fill here. And then I'll grab my Bezier tool, draw this mouth. Okay, and then I want to overlap on top of my mouth here. And then I'm going to hold Shift and L to make this corner. And then I can click and drag. And just kind of overlap that part. And then Shift and L again. I'm going to come straight up here like that and then come across like that. And then I'll get rid of this stroke. This part doesn't quite meet up here, so I'm just going to grab my nodes tool and just kind of pull that section out there like that. Okay. So almost done with this. I'm just going to kind of fill in some of my colors here. So I'm going to grab this, and then I'll grab this hair here, grab my eyedropper tool, fill that in with purple, and then I'm going to hold Shift and get rid of my stroke. So that'll be like that. And then I'm going to grab my skin here, press D, fill this in with this pink, and then hold Shift and get rid of my stroke like that. It's not quite working. There we go. Okay. Second to last thing I'll do here is I'm going to make my ear. Okay. And the ear is actually going to be on top of these sections here. I'm going to hold Shift and L to make this straight line here. And that's going to be a straight line. And then I'll make this curve here. Okay. Grab my eyedropper tool. And then I'm going to hold Shift and get rid of my stroke. Like that. Okay. Alright, so now I'm ready to make my shirt. And the shirt, what we're going to do is we're going to make a pattern here. And I'm actually going to just choose kind of like a different pattern to fill this in. I was going to make this other one here. But I'm just going to make kind of a different one here like that. So we can grab some, I'm going to grab my ellipse tool and I'm going to complete this. And I'm just going to make a series of kind of like some ovals here. And I'm just going to have them going at kind of like some different angles and stuff like that. I'm going to use the same color scheme. So I'm going to do this same blue and then kind of like this same purple here. So I'm going to press Control D and make a copy. And then I'm going to grab my eyedropper tool and then do that. Now I'm just going to make a bunch of copies of these. So I'm going to press Control D to make these copies. So I'm going to put, I actually want these to kind of alternate here. So I'm actually going to put this purple one down here like that and put this blue one up here like this here. Okay, I'm going to select all those, Control D, and I'm just going to make a bunch of these shapes here. Let's kind of fill this in. Control D. Same process that we did for when we made the other patterns here. I'm probably going overboard, but that's okay. Oops. Okay. Now I need to make these all one single piece, so I'm going to select all of these. Okay, and then I'm going to go up to Path and Union. Oh, why did it do that? Huh. Let's do path, object to path. Let me select these again. I'm not for sure why it's doing that. We'll do path, object to path. And then let's try path and union again. Huh. Okay, I'm not for sure why that's doing that. We're just going to keep going. All right, and then the last thing I'm going to do here, so now these are all one single piece. Remember when you use the path and difference, you've got to make individual pieces all one single piece. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make my shirt. Like this. And our shirt's actually going to go behind our neck and our beard and stuff like that. So that can go across here. And then actually we can use this, we'll use this circle to make our piece here. So let me just kind of show you what we've got here. I'm going to choose that color. And then we're going to make our circle. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And so I'm going to try to get this close to the center here. So I'm going to hold Shift and Control, and that's going to make my circle go from the middle out. I'm going to change color here so you can kind of see what's going on. And I'm actually going to switch this to a stroke and get rid of my fill. So I'm going to shrink this down just a little bit. Something like that. Okay. So I'll do a fill, get rid of my stroke. I'm going to select now my shirt. I'm actually going to make a copy of my shirt. So I'm going to press Control D. Actually, I don't want to do that quite yet. Okay, and then I'm going to go to Path and Difference. Whoops. I need to have this on the top here. Click on a new path and intersection. Yep, there we go. Okay. And actually, I'm going to step backwards here, and I'm going to use this circle again. So I'm going to press Control D and put this over here, and then do the same thing. I'm going to go to path and intersection. Okay. And so now it's my shirt, and now I can use this here, and I'm going to actually make a copy of this shirt like that. This is going to be my background, so maybe I want to do, let's do kind of like this purple again, and then I'm going to grab this, put this on top, like that. And here's our shirt. And then I'm going to put this on the top of the stack here, and this goes on top like that. Okay. And then this last part, I'm going to put this circle here like that. I'm just going to change this to kind of this green, and then I'll put this on the bottom of my stack here, like that. Looks like it's behind my image here. Let me actually just get rid of this image. I don't need that anymore. Whoops, I'm going to go up one here. There we go. Okay. So then there we go. So you'll want to put all your finished pieces. So I'll put this piece, over here so that I can see all your work here. All your finished pieces will go over here on the right-hand side, like that. Again, you don't have to do all the same colors that I did. You can do some different colors and stuff like that. Oops. And then my shirt here, I need to move back a layer. There we go. Okay. All right.